Welcome to the live stream. It's Marshall. It's Saturday. Thanks for tuning into the show. Appreciate you coming in, stopping by, and being here, all that good stuff. So I'm a little late getting started today. I apologize, but man, I've had a busy week. I basically hooked everything up, in this room. Since I moved into this room here, most of the gear behind me has been in various states of connectedness to the main system here. But I spent a lot of time making sure everything is all hooked up, and even made this crazy Excel spreadsheet that shows all my routing so far. And there's some more I have to do to this actually. This is kind of nerdy and boring or whatever, but let's just take a look at this. So here's my patch bay, my Yamaha 01 V96, which is my mixer, my RME media face, which the mixer runs into via ADAT, my Motu MIDI Express, and then some various USB to MIDI dongles that I have, several Mios and a Cakewalk version. Anyway, this is almost done here. This is all the stuff that's hooked up. It's nice because I can just quickly look at this, see, my V-Synth GT, which that's actually new behind me here up on the top. Picked that up just this last week as well. But anyways, I can just look at this. I can see, that's here in the patch bay, and get it wired up. And you can see 1 through 8 my inputs on the Yamaha go to the patch bay, which is really cool. And then I have some open, direct connections that I've got some synths plugged into, like the Uno synth, the Radius, the Matrix Brute, etc. And then I've got a few things over ADAT, like the XV5080 and the Triton. So it gets pretty crazy, a little convoluted, and it's a little tough sometimes to keep track of everything. And so I felt that it was time to go through. And since I had moved into this room a while ago now, maybe a month or two ago, maybe it's longer than that now, I don't know. But go through and try and hook everything up that I possibly can, and go from there. I've got a couple of Behringer X-Air 12s over on this other wall, which you can't see. It's got some shelves with some other synths. And so I've got several synthesizers plugged into that are being basically summed to a stereo output that go into the patch bay. So I can kind of get to everything that's in this room. And there's a lot of synths in here. There's probably almost 40 synthesizers in here now. So it's getting crazy, which it's not a bad thing. My next step is going to be to take some of this stuff, which I got from Monoprice. This is like some, I don't know, it's like vinyl conduit wrapping, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to try and do some cable management along the floors here, because there's going to be a studio tour coming up pretty soon. I want it to look pretty. So this stuff I got like 20 feet of this for, I don't know, $20 maybe. There's a lot of it. Oops, and I just knocked that over. But yeah, there's quite a bit of this stuff. And so that's going to be my next project to tackle. And then next week, on the 24th, my Moog One will ship. A 16-voice Moog One will be in here, hopefully by the end of the week. I think that's a Wednesday that's going to ship. So hopefully by Friday or Saturday, that will be here. So that would be the 26th. Actually, hopefully next week for the live stream, there's going to be a Moog One here. And that's going to be what we'll look at if it gets here in time. So also we've got a Waldorf Quantum on pre-order. Don't know what's going on with that. And it should, I'm told, end of November that should arrive. So that'll be nice. But we got CompuCat in the chat. How's it going, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. Just getting the live stream going. So yeah, and if you guys drop by, you catching this on the replay. I try and stream these at around 5 p.m. Mountain Time on Saturdays. So, and today I got started about 20 minutes late, but what can you do? So, yeah, that's kind of the studio updates. Like I said, V-Synth GT new edition. I moved the original V-Synth onto the shelves over here for right now. This actually is something I wanted to talk about. I might do a separate video on this at some point, but I bought several things off of Reverb, and almost every time I've had a problem. This thing was actually listed as mint condition, but I get it, and the end cheeks are all pretty banged up. You probably can't see it on here, but There's a couple of pretty deep grooves and dents and scratches on there. And the guy who sold it didn't take any pictures of that, didn't mention anything in the listing. I saw, it's always a gamble sometimes when you look at this, but most of the time people are pretty honest. But this person, I think, was trying to be was trying to oversell the synth a little bit. So when I got here, I kind of got pretty pissed at him, and luckily I was able to source some replacement end cheeks for that from Roland. I can't believe they still have those. That synth's like 10 years old. But luckily I got a couple of them, and they weren't that expensive. So I'll probably do a video replacing those when those come in, maybe next week sometime. But yeah, I had another guy on there who sent me a Clavia Nord Lead or Nord Wave that shipped it in a soft case, just kind of wrapped in some cardboard, like really shitty packing. I got a JD990, which I don't necessarily blame this on the seller, because they were selling on consignment, so I think it was somebody else's unit that they had basically taken, and I don't know, they sold it for them, but it was shipped by the end customer, or the person that was originally selling. It's not the same person, basically, and it was packed poorly, and the rack ears got bent. Luckily, I was able to fix all that. But, it's just like sometimes it's a little bit of a headache when you buy online. So, but luckily I haven't had any like tragic disasters. But almost everything I've bought on Reverb, unfortunately, I've had some kind of issue. I had one guy sell me a Novation MIDI controller, like a 61 key MIDI controller, which I have on my main desk here. And it took the guy like almost a month to send it. I was like, what the hell's going on? So yeah, it's kind of shitty sometimes. But anyway, everything's looking good in here now. Most of this stuff is hooked up. I've got a couple synths over here that I don't have connected at the moment, but this is going to change a little bit once the Moog One and the Quantum comes in anyway. So these will probably be relegated into Studio B, which is the other room where I have all the boutiques and everything else set up for right now. But and that's a whole other animal. I'm going to have to do a whole separate wiring diagram for all that stuff. But anyway, so today we're going to work on my Psytrance tune. Okay, I have worked on this a little bit since the last time I did a video on this, did a live stream on this. And it's coming together really, really well. I think today I'll play it for you guys to kind of show you what I've changed since the last time it was heard. I've really worked on the break and the build, and I think it sounds fantastic right now. So I still want to incorporate some type of vocals, either vocoding or maybe I'll use the speak or the speak and read, the circuit bent speak and read I have. I haven't really decided because the vocals are kind of a pain in the ass for me to write. But yeah, let's just jam out to this real quick. Oh, CompuCat's saying some stuff here. Says had good and bad experience on Reverb. Shipped him a pair of monitors and a pair of boxes. Frankenstein together. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like, especially when you're spending like a lot of money on something and somebody doesn't take the time to pack it correctly. Like the JD990, that's not a super expensive synth, but it is a rack, and I've had one of the first synths I ever sold myself when I was young, in my 20s, was a Korg Radius rack, which is funny because I ended up buying another one eventually. But I had shipped it to the guy in the original box. I didn't pack it very well, and unfortunately I had the same issue happen where the rack ears bent, and I felt so terrible that I have made sure anytime I've sold anything, I have made sure that the packing is spot on, because you definitely don't want to have that happen. It's very disappointing for the person who's receiving it, and for me, I felt terrible. It wasn't my intention to skimp. I didn't realize that would be an issue. So, but anyway, yeah. So it's hit and miss on some of that. Hey Eric, what's up, man? Eric's in the chat. Yeah, let's go through play this tune for you guys, and then I'll break it down. So here we go. Nope. Let me do this. Let me take it out of clip mode. Here's the full arrangement here, and we'll just play it from the beginning from here. shit, just kind of the outro here for mixing. Gone through. So yeah, looks like we got a little bit of a delay between the audio and the video. I apologize for that. That's I don't know if that's a latency issue or could be because I'm streaming the image here from this computer to my capturing computer, to two separate machines, so I may have some latency on my local network here, possibly. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, and maybe I should do a behind the scenes on how all that works at some point for the video, how I make all these streams and everything. But yeah, so I apologize if that's a little distracting, but probably not too much I can do about it right now, but I'll look into that and see if I can track that down. So thanks for that, CompuCat. So let's talk about what I've done. So again, I've worked pretty hard on this to try and get the arrangement kind of where I want it, and it's just a matter of at this point finalizing that, adding some vocal elements if I decide to do any of that, which I think I want to on this track. I think it needs just a little something extra and little snippets of some kind of vocal. Will help this track out a lot, I think. But yeah, let's talk about it. So I was able to find a set of snares for some crescendos that I really liked. It kind of reminded me of like the trap snares, which I'm not a fan of trap music at all, really, but I think it actually kind of works in this. Am I frozen? Here we go. Let's see. I think it's in here. Let's just let's find one. So I think it's these. I can solo this. Or what the hell is that? Oh, that's just a clap. Crescendo here. Yeah, there we go. These are them. So just that kind of helps with the transitions, I think. You can never go wrong with some snare crescendos, especially in music like this. Okay, let's see, what else did I change here? Oh, I added like a percussive, like a kick that's got a bunch of like reverb and some effects in it here. And these are one shots of the Kick 2 plugin. Excuse me. And you can hear that like that. And it's got some EQing and some chorus, and that's about it. And just a shit ton of this Art Acoustics reverb. This is what I was trying to talk about. I forgot the name of this when I was doing the live or the podcast. The Let's Talk About Synths with Echo Kraft and Mr. Cowfood. This is my favorite reverb plugin at the moment. Yeah, you just turn up the wetness quite a bit, and I added some chorusing effects to it. And when you get all that together with the rest of the percussion here, it really just kind of slams. So just little things like that help a lot, I think. So, and then incorporating some of those things into the break, which is somewhere like right here. You know, that really helps with that. Then the build up again. So this is pretty unchanged from the last time, except that I've just added the snare crescendos, and then obviously that kick that's been processed pretty heavily. And then instead of doing like 2 measures of that, or however many bars that was, and then breaking it down again, I just decided to just ramp it up with another snare crescendo into the kind of main melody again. And I think that worked out pretty good. And then the last thing I did was towards the last bit where that last chorus comes in here. I'm taking my blue arp sequence, and if you guys, I talk about blue arp all the time. I genuinely love that plugin. But I just took, because the whole song, it's pretty flat. It's just a single. It's an F note basically through the whole track until you get to that last bit, and then we've got the bass line that's actually doing some progression here. Which I think really, for the main, this is like the last hurrah, And the mega arp, as I called it, is following that too, so... I don't know. I think this is turning out really nice, guys. I'm pretty excited for this. Like I said, just need to get probably some vocals in here and go through the mixing a few more times. It sounds pretty good. Like, I've listened to it on a lot of different systems, like audio systems, and I'm liking it so far. A few little minor things, maybe in some spots the snares might be a little heavy. I may need to back those down just a little bit, but. I don't know. Sounded pretty good, I think. And I had experimented with putting like a sample of a bunch of people saying the word "hey," like "hey," like a crowd going "hey" kind of thing, and put that on the clap beat. And I played around with that for quite a while, and it's like, I was just not feeling that, so I took it out. But yeah. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to come in here. I'm going to wipe out the arrangement for right now. Right now, what's going on is some of the tracks are playing live from the Integra 7. Is that the only live synth I have on this at the moment? I'm not sure. I think that's it. But I want to start kind of processing these. Well, not processing them, but rendering them into audio within Ableton. And the reason why I do that at this stage is because I'm pretty much done with the arrangement. Probably not going to change anything in terms of the MIDI of the main composition or any of the sounds there. And get ready to start mixing and adding vocals. And the nice thing is then I'll have a copy this way with all the plugins and hooked directly up to the equipment. But if at any point I lose a plugin or lose a synth here, if I want to go back to this, I still have the main audio once I've kind of captured all the audio from everything. So I'm going to take the arrangement out because I think that slows us down when we do these bounces. And then let's find... So we'll do the Integra 7 here first. It's like hidden in one of these. Is it in here? And some of these I need to label up correctly because they're not correct. Well, let's see if we can find it here. Yeah, okay, so it's in this group here. So I've got a few groups within groups here. So the Integra 7, I believe it are these. Yeah, so there we go. Integra 7, playing MIDI channel 1. So we'll start with these. We'll freeze these out and then bounce them. So actually, let me do a save. Let me do a save as, actually. So you can see these are the progressions. I've had 11 different projects. Usually, like, once I have a session, I've done some work and I like where I'm at, I'll save it when I'm finished. I have I can always go back if I need to. And I'm going to say with MIDI... And then we'll go and we'll bounce these out. So, let's see. We'll go here and here. And actually, these are just the same, I think. So we really only need one of these, and we can duplicate it and then spread the panning again. Hold on, let me do this. Freeze. There we go. So while that's going, we can talk about some stuff. I saw something about a Prophet XL that's coming out. I don't understand that. Maybe someone can explain it to me. It seemed like from what I had seen, it's going to add more piano style keys to the thing. It'll increase the polyphony to 32 voices. I'm not sure what else, and I think it's alleged. I think it's a rumor. I don't think it's been officially announced or anything like that. But I did see some people talking about that on YouTube today, and yeah, I don't know how much you think that'll cost. I mean, the regular one's what, $4,000, $399, something like that. $3,999. Nothing against the Prophet X. I seriously considered getting one, but I decided to go with a Quantum instead because I felt like that's got way more synthesis capabilities. That's going to keep me busy for a long time. The Prophet X seemed like it was a good synth, also, as well as having the sampling abilities in there, which I really liked. What I was really hoping for was some high quality saxophone sounds. They have an older track which has some saxophone stuff that. The reason why I stopped working on that is because I couldn't get something that sounded authentic enough for me. And I reached out to 8DO about it, actually, and they had some saxophone sample videos on their YouTube page, which really sounded great. And I was like, wow. But I was like, if that's the main reason why I'm going to buy the synth, to get like that one thing, I don't know if that's really the way I want to go right now. So I ended up going with the Quantum, but... yeah, Quantum XL, I guess that's rumored to come out pretty soon. I'm excited for the Cura, and I hope we see some stuff about the Cura at NAMM. That's another Quantum, another Waldorf synthesizer that is going to be coming out eventually. It was originally the Valkyrie, which was a gentleman who had worked on an FPGA synthesizer, stuck it in a case that looked very much like a virus, and Waldorf, I think... and that gentleman reached an agreement, and they've rebranded it, and I'm excited to see what that's all about, because we need a virus update, I think, and that's kind of virus-esque. It seemed very similar to the virus TI2, so... yeah, so... yeah, so Eric, from what I saw on the Prophet XL, and I really didn't do a lot of research, so I could be way off on this, but from what I saw, I think there's more keys, and the key bed is more piano-style keys, and more polyphony. But then I also heard that they're going to be pushing an update for the original Prophet XL, or Prophet, Jesus, what am I talking about? Prophet X synthesizers that will also increase their capabilities from 8 voices to 32 as well. So kind of, again, if they do that, that's awesome, especially if you're an existing Prophet X owner. But it really wouldn't encourage me to go with buying the XL if you can get the same voice count on the regular Prophet X, that is. So yeah, and I had been... I need to do some shout-outs here, actually. There's a gentleman on YouTube who I found recently named Cosma. Let me see if I can find his page here. He's done a lot of sound design work on... he has a Quantum somehow. I think he's in France or in Europe somewhere. But just really great videos, man. And the guy's super nice. I've chatted with him several times about the Quantum and his work. So Let me just give him a shout out while we're waiting for our bounces to go through here. And I say Cosma, but it's CO5MA. Here he is, right here. You guys should check him out. He does some really cool videos, and you can see some quantum stuff on here. He's one of the few people I've heard with good demos of that synth. And look at his subscriber count is tiny. I think he's just started doing YouTube not that long ago. But yeah, check him out. If you guys like what he's doing, subscribe. I think this guy is fantastic. And he doesn't just have quantum. He has other stuff on here too. Yeah, here's some Prophet X stuff. Yeah. Superb. And he has, like, in some of his recent videos, he's kind of reminded me of the... What's that guy's name? Jessix? Do you guys know who this is? Let's see if I can find his. Or Jexus or something? I always get it mixed up. Yeah, Jexus. This guy. Who this is one of the people when I was again in my 20s. I would just watch all his videos because he has so many different demos of synths on here. But Cosma, that's how I'm pronouncing that other gentleman's channel. But started kind of splicing in some random video clips and very kind of similar to this, but less dark. Like the Jexus stuff is kind of weird and dark, and some people may not find it appealing. But he does deep dives into these synthesizers, and if you go to his website, there's like all kinds of crazy write-ups about all the different synths that he's owned or done reviews for. But yeah, I remember coming back to this, listening to the MS 2000, this one here, these two, like a bunch of times. Yeah. And this guy just kind of fell off the face of the earth. There was some rumors that maybe he had died, but I don't think he died. I found a Gearslutz forum where they were talking about him, and he it sounds like he just kind of quit doing YouTube, and yeah, who knows why, but that dude's a legend. When you have people theorizing that you're dead, you're a legend, I think. So yeah. I'm not sure why this is taking so long, but let me see if I can think of any other YouTubers. Actually, yeah, here's one. He's starting to grow pretty big, I think. Triton Recordings. This guy has all kinds of demos. You can see I've watched all kinds of his stuff on here. Somehow he got his hands on a Moog One with some really good demos in here. So if you guys are interested, check that one out. Grandmother. It's his synth stuff series is really great. He just kind of jams out some patches on all these different synths. It's really good stuff. I think he's got about 50 webisodes, whatever, of that particular series. So really great stuff from this guy as well. Again, it's Triton Recordings. Check him out. Let's see if I can think of anyone else that I've been watching recently that's good. Can't think of any off the top of my head, so I'm a little worried because I haven't heard the Integra play yet. I should have been hearing something, I would imagine, but who knows how Ableton does its crazy stuff here. Echo Kraft. If you guys don't know Echo Kraft, check out the last video, the last live stream, or the one before that. Well, it wasn't even a live stream. It was just the Let's Talk Synths video. He went to AES in New York. I believe that was what the event was called. just posted a video. He got to meet Rich Hilton. If anyone's a fan of Sonic State, which I think a lot of us are, we're Sonic State followers and fans. Rich Hilton is a frequent guest on there. He also plays with Chic. Really nice guy. It seemed like, I mean, from the years, literally years that I've been watching Sonic State and the times that he's been on there, really, really knowledgeable and seemed like just like a nice, genuine person. Echo Kraft got to meet him. He got to go to the Sam Ash store. Like, holy crap. Like, I wish I could go there. Seemed like they had everything. They even had modal synths. Like, and I've never seen a modal synth in real life ever. So, that was pretty cool. But Echo Kraft's another YouTuber. I really enjoy watching his stuff. Which is why I invited him onto the show. Well, I hope this is recording something, because usually in the playback you're supposed to be able to hear stuff, but we'll find out here in a few minutes. Let's see if there's any other news that I can think of while we're waiting. Oh yeah, check this out. So here's a write-up on Synthtopia on the Prophet XL. I have not even looked at this yet. Let's make it big. So yeah, Synthtopia. Go to synthopia.com. I love this website. They always get the latest scoops. '76 key version, Prophet X offering 32 voice mode that bypasses the main filter section, which still only has 16 filters. It uses 2 of those filters paraphonically to splice things up. Or to spice things up. Spice things up. Interesting. Foam sounds, take advantage of blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you guys can read that. It's just a short little blurb, and then, of course, down here it says, official details still to be announced. Very cool. It looks beautiful. I'd be curious about the price, and if people are going to cry about the price like they did the Moog One, if it's like a few grand. I don't know why people get so upset about that. But alright, let's see if this actually captured anything. So we're going to solo this. Sounds like it's in there. Alright, so we'll flatten that. Okay, so now I can delete this one, duplicate that one, do my panning, and let's see if that's got what we want here. Sounds like it. Alright, so I'm going to save this as this with no MIDI. Alright, good. So now I can literally shut my Integra 7 off and save my electric bill a few dollars if I wanted to. Let me just rename this. We're in here. Ads. And this is where all my processing is on this. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm basically using some LFO tool to do some real fast volume automation basically on the sound. Sounds pretty cool. Alright. And here's a bunch of M1 stuff, so let's just go ahead and start doing these. So these are just duplicates again. This is where like I start saving on CPU, because right now like almost everything is running either on a plugin or running through MIDI out to external gear, and then all the processing effects. Like, it's a good thing that my system is pretty powerful, because I believe that if this was on my old system, I would have had probably many issues by now with this. But I am running a fancy Core i9 processor with a bunch of RAM, and it's been great. I've had almost no issues, although I did go through this last week and do a brand new clean install of Windows once again, reload all my plugins and software, and then I did a partition backup using Acronis onto my NAS, so that next time if I have to do that, I can just reload the image. And so yeah, these go faster because they're plugins. Anything that's running through audio, to external gear takes longer because it's got to actually play it back and capture the audio. But with this, it can just do it real quickly. So and again, I think we can take this. I think these are the same. But we'll take this out. We'll flatten this one. Duplicate it. Take our panning over that way. Do the same to this one. This is the tedious part, but then again, once we get past this stage, then we'll have a nice version with all our MIDI in case we ever in the future need to go back, let's say for remixing or for any reason. We've still got all our original MIDI data, but then we'll have another version with all our audio in case we lose a synth or a plugin or something along the way at some point. We still have that original audio. Alright, let's make sure all that sounds right still. So on these, there was 4 instances of the M1 for panning and stuff. 2 different patches running into this for summing, and then I think I had tried doing some other stuff, and then I added the Integra 7. So most of the stuff I can probably delete, but I'm going to leave it for right now just in case I need it. But I think that's sounding right. And something changes in the dynamics, I think. At least it sounds like it to me. Whenever you take raw audio coming live from plugins or external instruments, and once you render those out to audio, it always sounds a little different to me, and so like the mix needs to be kind of reworked, in my opinion, almost every time. So here we have massive with the white noise, so we'll do so here's something that I'll do. Since the other things were grouped up here, I didn't have to worry about freezing and flattening with effects, which I will not do. So like in this case, and all the processing and stuff is on a group channel versus the actual individual channel, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do now, since this is on kind of a single channel here, I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to pull all of the effects off. Come on, duplicate. I'm going to take all the effects off the one I'm going to freeze and flatten. And then, since I've got a copy of it, I will copy these back on to the audio once it's been flattened, if that makes sense. So now I'll freeze. And flatten. And that's because I want the effects to be live. I want them to be real time, always. I don't want to freeze and flatten with effects on anything if I can avoid it. So we'll copy these, paste them here. And now we can delete this one. And this is just that white noise effect. Some flanger phaser. So I mean, if we turn all this off, it's going to sound different. Yeah, it's just going to sound like noise. So in this case, the effects actually help shape the sound for me. All right. Percussion stuff. So this is what's in here. I don't know what this is here. Oh, that's my impact snare. So I should probably write that in here. And these are kind of processed already, so I don't usually add reverb to these impact snares. These come from one-shot sample packs that I've picked up over the years. And I'll usually keep several of these in here. For right now, I think I'm going to leave this the way it is. So I'm not going to render this one out yet, because I think it'll probably end up getting dumped into the percussion group eventually. Here is the Micro Brute, which we've already done this process for, because I took 2 different sounds on the Micro Brute that I did in real time, tweaking and making these. So these are already kind of ready to go for us. So I actually don't have to do anything. We pretty much followed the same process. Well, actually, I don't think I even sequenced MIDI for this. I just did it in real time, if I remember right. But these 2 sounds, so these are already good to go. What's in this one? External instrument. What do I have in here? Oh, this was just my placeholder for the Micro Brute when I was sampling from it. So it looks like I did just hold down a note, and I think I was just tweaking knobs and capturing audio in real time. So we can actually get rid of that one. So this is the chiptune stuff. This is a cool plugin. Where is it? Oh, so some Psytrance and some chip sounds. So this plugin is I've had for a long time. It emulates all the classic vintage game console audio chips, basically, like the DMG, Game Boy, the NES, the classic NES, not the original Nintendo, basically the Commodore 64, Atari. All those are in here, and it does a pretty good job, I think. So I've used a little bit of this in here. But are we doing? What am I doing? So this is Blue Arp running these. So for now, I'm going to leave that the way it is, because I think I'm going to have to do some... Well, we could record the sequence into here from Blue Arp and then freeze it and flatten it that way. We could do that. Let's see if we can figure out how to do that real quick. Because that's doing that with this and with the instance of Silent. So we can, if we hit record... Yeah, there we go. So, and what'll be nice about this... Oh, we gotta do it on this side now. Or we could just copy this over, but let's just do it this way. This is a nice way of getting your your MIDI sequence from Blue Arp as actual MIDI. And again, this would help with like remixing. If you wanted to send the MIDI tracks out to somebody else who was working on a remix, they'd have those. And I'm just going to get 2 full bars of this here. But I think we only need 1. And then what we would do is turn these on and turn Blue Arp off. And let's see if that... So now these are playing from the MIDI here. Is that right? I believe so. Alright, let's just see. Yep, so that's groovy. Alright, so we gotta do that for some of these other ones. I think this is the same sequence. Let's look at the Blue Arp. So these are the same, so actually we should just be able to duplicate these. Duplicate, but then there's 2 different ones down here. And you can see my mess of stuff when I was playing around trying to figure out my progression. Oops, I'm recording the same thing again. Let's do it. Alright, so now if we shut that off, turn it to auto. Now I can just copy this and paste it. Turn that to auto. And actually, if we just stop. There we go. So, and I think these are repeats of the other one. Yep, and then this is this identical thing. So really all we have to do then is just copy, or well, let's make sure this is trimmed correctly. Now we'll just take that to here. Sure, we're on the 9. And then I think if you do, is it Control or Alt? Yeah, if you do Control, press and hold Control, left click on your mouse, drag over, it'll just drag it over and drag it down. Now we're done with that. So then with this one, we'll just copy all these and paste them. There we go. Now we could pretty much take Blue Arp out. And these were some other sequences down here I don't think I ended up doing anything with. But like when I'm in my experimenting phase, like I'll keep a lot of the clips of some of these other melodies and just drag them to the bottom of the scenes. And then if I want to use them, I've got them kind of thing. But I ended up using these. I think there was a couple of different variations. But anyways, we'll be able to delete all those here pretty soon. And actually, maybe we should, since we're going to be freezing and bouncing tracks out. Although these are Blue Arp things, but let's just take them out. But technically, we could actually delete the Blue Arp channel now. So let's just take that out. Now we're playing MIDI from Silent and from the chip sounds plugin. And let me just make sure. I want to make sure I don't have any processing on here. So, because I'm going to freeze and flatten these. So processing again, this is why I like using groups as well, is I can put the processing on the group. And then when I flatten the audio, I don't have to worry about removing effects. So it looks like these are all turned off anyway. So we can just freeze and flatten these. Freeze, flatten, freeze. That's the beauty of plugins, man. It makes things so fast working in the box at this stage. If I was using a bunch of external stuff, it would take a lot longer. Of course, because it's got to do the actual playback for each thing. So there we go. So now these should all be rendered audio for us. Now let's just let's make sure. Good to go on that one. So these effects, I guess we could do all these. So these are a bunch of oh, it looks like these are all muted. Oh shit, I didn't even realize I had some of these muted. Okay, so there's a few other little like one-shot type effects. Looks like some Omnisphere. What's this one? Oh, this is the... Okay, that one's off too. That was like the bongos. Yeah, so with these, it's going to be a little hairier because we have effects on everything. But I do want to start getting these out, so I'm just going to duplicate... actually, you know what I should do? Just duplicate all of them. And then we'll start from this end and go down. Because none of these are going to change. Alright, and then we'll freeze and flatten. Rinse, wash, rinse, repeat. So yeah, I'm trying to think of stuff to talk about so it's not so boring. Can't think of much else right now. I guess my next big project after I get this room squared away is to get that secondary studio. I'm calling it Studio B for right now, all set up as well. It's got all the 11 boutiques set up in there, stage ready to go. I think I found a way to hook everything up to an MX1 mixer. That's the Roland mixer. To get all 11 of those, this is going to be interesting. I'll have to test it all out, but I think I have a way in my brain that it'll work. Because that's the only mixer I have in that room. I think that's the only one. I might have another XR12 actually in there. I've got 2 or 3 of those. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting project to get that up and running, and that's like my next big push is to do a full track with just all boutiques and see what I can come up with. I think that'd be fun to kind of limit myself. I say limit myself. There's 11 synthesizers in that collection, so I mean, gonna have a lot of really, really nice options for sounds when I make that Oh, so Eric's asking when's the one shipping. October 24th is what I have. Is when that's going to ship. So by next Saturday, it should be here, which will be awesome. So that's what we'll be doing next Saturday. If it's here, I'll have it hooked up. You bet your ass, and we'll be looking at it. Oh, I don't know if I should mention this, but I got a low serial number on that, so it's going to be like number 7, I think, is what I saw on my paperwork. So that doesn't mean anything. It's more kind of a sentimental thing. I think you might get a few extra things from Moog for that. It was like another $500 too to get that. But that's a special. It's not every day Moog releases a polyphonic beast like they have. So having the opportunity to get a low serial number was pretty cool, I think. Okay, so that's good. We'll flatten that one. And we'll freeze this one. Oh yeah. I wish I had the Quantum already too, man. That thing's, I'm just jonesing for that as well. But in due time, good things for those who wait. That's what they say. I have a hard time waiting though. Get all antsy. Let's see how long we've been going here. About an hour. I'll try and wrap up this section here, the effects section, and then we'll probably call it a day for the live stream. I really want to try and get this track wrapped up before the Moog One gets here as well, so I'll try and work on that the rest of this week. Now that most of my stuff is set up in here, it's going to be a lot of fun too, because I felt like for this track especially, like there were some parts where I was like, I wish I could use my mini Moog, or I could use this other thing, but I don't feel like going through and trying to hook it up right now because it's in such a crazy state. So now that everything is hooked up in here, it's going to be a lot easier for me to access a lot of the hardware behind me. So I'm going to have some fun with that. But obviously, we're going to have a lot of stuff, a lot of time dedicated to just poking around with the new synths, the new monster synths like the Moog One and the Quantum when those are both in here. And then there will be a new studio tour. I was hoping to get a studio tour done in August, but I was waiting on the Quantum at that point. So that just tells you how long I've been waiting for that. I definitely want to get that in here before I do another studio tour. So I want to get... And then the Moog One was just dropped in our laps. It's nice, though, because they're going to be... I pre-ordered it this month. I mean... I pre-ordered it this month. It's going to ship this month. So that's nice for people like me who don't like to wait a very long time when you pre-order shit. But nothing you can do. It's better than having to wait I don't know if you think about it. Does it matter that much? Probably not. I mean, but for running a YouTube channel, it's definitely helpful to be able to get a hold of some of this stuff and play with it. But those are synths that if you can get one, you're probably not ever going to let it go. Unless you have an emergency or something, Or if you just don't like it, I guess. But more than likely, if you're a synthesizer person, you're probably going to enjoy it. Well, man, this one's taken for quite a while. This is Omnisphere. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah, I think that Sweetwater probably already has my Moog One, Eric. But yeah, that would be pretty crazy though if I watched it being built on one of their live streams. That would be cool. But I'm pretty sure Sweetwater's already got, especially a low serial number, like mine's number 7. They've probably already got those, and they're just going to load on the sounds, I'm guessing, from there. Because Sweetwater has a really close relationship with Moog. I didn't realize that, but the guy that I can't remember, why can't I remember his name? Daniel Fisher, that's his name. He's working on the owner's manual for the Moog One, you know. So they've definitely got an inside hook with Moog. And the other thing is, Eventide has a connection to Moog as well. I don't know if many people know this, but the owner of Eventide knew Bob Moog. I don't know if they were friends, but like they definitely knew of each other a very long time ago, and that may have been, I wonder, part of the reason why Moog went with Eventide for the effects in the Moog One. But that is cool that Moog does those streams. You know, I wish they put like some music over them, because then you could just kind of have some nice music going and watch the guys there in Asheville building synthesizers. But that was pretty interesting. It looks like a lot of the and I'm sure there's different stages, obviously, of the assembly when they're putting a lot of that together. But to access a lot of it's through the bottom, which is pretty cool. I just hope I don't ever have to open one up. Alright, so there we go. So now we got all our effects. So now we'll go through and start grabbing our effects chains for the effects, if that makes any sense. We'll start bringing these over into their counterparts here. Copy. Paste. Alright, so now if we go here to here, should have the same, here to here, should have the same, and here to here should be the same, and then here to here should be the same. Now we can just delete all this shit. And again, I've got no fear at this point because I've got a backup of this. In case I screw something up, I could always go back to that previous save that I had done. But yeah, these should all make me now. Well, I think I was just going to start going on again here, but I think I'm going to call it a day here for you, everyone. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Of course, as always, it's wonderful being able to talk to you guys while I work on this stuff. And, of course, if anyone has questions or anything like that, I'm always willing to help. If I know the answer, I'll try. Or if I don't know, I'll even try and find it for you usually. Yeah, Eric is saying it would be an interesting place to visit, referencing the Moog factory. I would like to go down there at some point and try and take a tour. I think that'd be really cool. The guy, that was another channel I wanted to recommend to you guys. If you don't know, I'm sure probably a lot of you do already. But Synth Forever, I think is his name. Let me make sure. Synth Forever with a 4, a number 4. He had a tour of the Dave Smith Instruments building, and it was really cool. I watched that the other day. I'm not sure how old it is, But you can see he's got a lot of different synth. Like, look at this. He's got the A6, and he's an ambient producer. I like a lot of his work as well. But great job with a lot of his videos. You guys need to watch his studio tour. He's got some awesome synthesizers in his collection. Then he's got that Dave Smith. I believe it was him, where he did the tour of the Dave Smith Instruments location. Looked really neat. Now, they don't obviously do any manufacturing there. They've outsourced all their manufacturing, as far as I understand. I don't know where. Hopefully it's not China, but it probably is. Anyway, so I think that's going to be where I'm going to leave it for today, folks. Thank you so much for stopping by again. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Again, I'll be on, try and do these at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And sometimes I'm a little late, but rest assured I'll be on. And especially if the Moog One's here, get ready for an awesome live show next weekend for that. All right, that's going to do it, folks. Have a great week. Bye.